Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. Today it's time for my November TBR. So we're actually already in November. I've left this one a little bit late, but it's time for me to kind of look ahead still and see what I'm going to read this month. I'm actually glad that I left this one because I hadn't planned it. I didn't know what I was going to read, but I did have a last minute new suggestion, if you like, to go in there. So I'm going to start with that one just because it's there. I was at Fantasy Con in Brighton yesterday. Fantastic time, lots of fantastic people met, and I just happened to bump into Phil Williams and pick up A Winter's Mercy, which is book 3 of the Blood Scouts, which is a series that I've kind of enjoyed so far. It's been a bit hit and miss. I loved book 1 in this series. It was just completely out there. It was nothing like anything I was expecting or would normally have read, but However Many Must Die, I really enjoyed. Didn't quite like book 2 as much. That was Drown Deep, but Phil says this one kind of goes back to what I was seeing really in However Many Must Die. So I'm still really excited for this, especially if it does get back towards those kind of highs. Really, I really like the characters that you've got in here. You've got the Blood Scouts of the series title are just really fun to listen to the stories of, basically, and there are some side characters as well who I'm wondering if we're going to see again, who were in the first book but not in the second book, and who I also really enjoyed. So yeah, I don't really know too much of a story. I've not looked at the synopsis on the back deliberately because I want to go into it as a nice surprise and just see where we end up, basically. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. It's quite a short one. That's a bit of a theme for my physical reading for this month to come, but yeah, that's A Winter's Mercy by Phil Williams to maybe kick off the month. I might start with this one because it's the new shiny that I've got. I also ran a Patreon poll looking for, as it happens, a shorter read. That's just coincidence that I've picked up essentially now 2 of them. The one that came out on top was Cold Silver for Souls by Tori Tekken. Now this is the first book in a series, but it's one that I already know a little bit about because the series, or the short story I should say, of the same name, Cold Silver for Souls, was one of the stories that I really enjoyed in the advent of winter. It's not normally my thing. It's kind of a Yukon Gold Rush kind of inspired setting, but you've got lots of fantasy elements in there. You've got a main character who is a necromancer bounty hunter, and she's got an animated corpse as her kind of sidekick, basically, and it was just fascinating. I really enjoyed the story, so I'm looking forward to this one. And it's just on a personal note, it's great to see these stories taking shape that started off basically out of thin air as we started off the advent of winter. Quick look at the synopsis of this one. It's bounty hunter, necromancer, outcast. She goes on the hunt when the law doesn't want to get its hands dirty. Born and bred in the harsh northern winters, Hunter collects bounties on thieves and murderers for a handful of coin, dragging Grip, her animated corpse, behind her. Trust wears thin in the wild territories, and the law doesn't always land on the side of justice or on the side of a necromancer. When a wealthy Shade Silver Baron blackmails her for a murder she didn't commit, Hunter takes on one last job. Instead of an easy payday, Hunter finds something she never expected, something that will tear open old wounds and force her to take justice into her own hands for someone else. So yeah, again, this is, as I said, a short one, but that is a bit of a theme for this month, at least in the physical reading, but 2 books that I'm really excited for. And then I did say at least for the physical reading, they're short ones because my my audiobook plan isn't necessarily quite so short. The shortest of them is book 2 in a series. This was out of my comfort zone, one of the categories for my 2025 reading plan, and I read book 1 in that reading plan of Rise of Sigurd by Giles Christian. So I'm going to go into book 2, which is... So I'm going to go into this one. I just had to double check this because I've written on my little note here, A Winter's Mercy, which is the same title that I've just had. That was obviously in my head. Title of book 2 of Rise of Sigurd is A Winter's Fire, not A Winter's Mercy. So that really threw me when I saw it there. But it's a series that I really enjoyed. It's outside of my comfort zone because it's historical fiction, which I just don't read, I don't have any experience of it basically, but I really did have a good time with the first book here. It was a little bit different for me because it doesn't have those fantasy elements, and because one of the things that I always say that I avoid in my reading, or at least my fantasy reading, so you know, there's the caveat, is real world mentions. I will literally look at the back of the book, read a synopsis, and if it says London or New York or anywhere of this world, I'll put the book down. It doesn't matter how interested I am. So yeah, that's been a long-standing kind of rule that I've had. But this one is specifically historical fiction, so it is set in our old world. It's a fictionalized account of stories from that time. But book one kind of ended abruptly for me. It was almost in the middle of the battle. There was no real fall in action, so I did say at the time that I was expecting it to dive straight into book two to kind of carry off exactly where we left off basically. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that and seeing if that is the case, or if there's any form of a time jump and a story jump, but I will find out soon. And then the big chunker that I've got, because I, again, really had a great time with the previous book in this series, I'm going to dive straight back into the Empire trilogy by Raymond D. Feist and Jenny Virts, and I'm going to read book 3 to finish off the trilogy. This one is Mistress of the Empire. So it took me a long time to get to this series, but I did like book 1, and I really enjoyed book 2 when I read it last month. It was one of my favourite books of the year, basically. I'm definitely expecting it to be within the top 10 that I normally do at the end of the year, unless book 3 is better, because I'll only go for one book per series within that top 10. So there's kind of pressure but no pressure, because one of the books from this series is almost guaranteed to appear somewhere within that top 10. I kind of hope it is book 3, because I normally do prefer the ending of the series where you've got everything coming together, and you know, it all just pulls together nicely. All the storylines are hopefully tied up, all of the loose ends are tied up, and yeah, I just love it when you enjoy a series and then you get to see it end the way the author, or in this case authors, wanted it to end. So yeah, really looking forward to it. You've always got that kind of bittersweet when you have a series that you really enjoy, and then all of a sudden it's finished, there's no more of it, but I'm looking forward to getting to that point here. So that's my plan for November's reading anyway. I'm getting towards the end of the year. This is the penultimate TBR of the year, and I haven't got anything directly from my 2025 reading plan on this one. They are going to be finishing up in my November TBR. I've already got a provisional plan for some of that, and yeah, we'll see what's left on the plan and see what comes into that TBR next month. As far as November goes though, what are you planning to read, and have you got a reading plan that you're trying to get to the end of as well? Let me know down in the comments. That's everything from me today though. Hope you're having a really great time of things. Hope to see you in the next video sometime soon, but until then, as always, take care of yourselves, read some good books. Bye for now.